Welcome to The Dead Life. Here's world-renowned medium, Alison Dubois.
Welcome to The Dead Life. I'm Alison Dubois. Thanks for tuning in for part 2 of last week's episode. There's been a lot of tension lately, hyperbolic personalities and emotional upheaval. What forces are at play right now? And what can we expect over the next few weeks as we bounce from eclipse to eclipse? Tom McMullen is here to give us an astrological roadmap to help us to navigate our lives. How can we self-protect in this energy? We're going to tell you how. If you have a question for me or Sophia, call us at 802-332-3811 and leave a message 3 minutes or less, and you might hear it answered on a future episode of The Dead Life. You can follow me on Instagram at Medium Allison, on my Facebook fan page, or you can binge on my YouTube channel. Tom, there's a lot of trepidation right now. People are prickly, sad, and on edge.
Depressed.
What's going on?
Moody.
What's going on in the universe?
Oh, God. We're in Virgo.
So the sun in Virgo next weekend is moving into Libra. Is that going to affect the other planets? Is it that retaliation? Is it looking for justice? Is it trying to find a balance, or all of those things?
Well, fall equinox falls on the 22nd and the sun moves into Libra, but it opposes Saturn. So it's now going to be in a conflict with authority.
Oh.
So yeah, it doesn't come in well. It's not going to be a real happy Libra month, unfortunately.
I usually really like Libra. That's a bummer.
Well, I am Libra, and I know you're like me, so at times.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's true.
But
So,
it's a war energy. Libra is a war energy because Libra and Aries are warriors. And so Aries is the warrior for self-survival and Libra is the warrior for justice. So, tries to bring things together so both sides win.
but wouldn't Libra try and fight it with diplomacy
Yes.
and words more so than actions?
Yes, because Aries is a fire sign and Libra is an air sign.
Mm-hmm.
So the intellect of the Libra tries to solve the problem when the Aries just takes his sword out and stabs you.
Without giving it a second thought.
It's a survival instinct. It really is. Because Aries is me. It's me against you. And that's, and Libra is, okay, we're going to be opposed, but let's see how we can make this work.
Uh-huh.
And that's the diplomacy of winning. And Librans are good at diplomatically winning if they can. But that's what this court systems are about.
Right.
Justice.
You're going to see a
fairness.
lot of court systems and filings and subpoenas. And
Oh, it's going to get big next month.
so you'll probably hear from the Supreme Court on some big
Yes.
rulings. So that's what Libra brings up. And anybody out there who's going through the legal system, it probably gets hammered out in that window.
Right.
I find that it does, where you can reach some sort of an agreement. It is nice for the diplomacy end of Libra, though. People do tend to be a little bit more fair.
Well, at least there's discussion.
Right.
Because, when we go into the end of this month and then into October, yes, the Supreme Court really comes alive in October. But even right now, with Saturn opposing Libra as it moves into that sign, it's, issues with authority, but it's major resistance and struggles. It's like me against you. But then the problem is that as Mars has been in Libra, so it's been trying to negotiate without any success. But unfortunately, the next day after the sun moves into Libra, Mars moves into Scorpio.
Oh, no.
So now it opposes Pluto in Aquarius. So yeah, I know. Exactly. So that's why it brings in social revolution. This is a social revolutionary time. And look where we are after what just happened.
Well, and just
recently.
so layman out there, and I include myself in that because I did not study it the way Tom does. I'm an Aquarius. I naturally just absorb astrology in bits, not you. Mars is how you act and react in life. And so with it in Scorpio, people will be acting and reacting with jealousy, retaliation, and possessiveness.
And
Control. And I guess the upside, if you're looking at it, would be transformation.
It wants to force transformation because Aries is a forceful energy.
Okay.
It's like, it wants to tear everything down and then let it be build back. It doesn't wait for it to sort of process. It just goes after.
Mars is the Aries planet, and so it's Aries and Scorpio energy at the same time.
Yeah, it's
oh my God,
it's to destroy and then rebuild later. So that's why it's a social revolution. You're going to see, that's why these, again, you're going to get a lot of these protests going on like all over the place.
Forget the protests. I'm worried about like Russia and what's going on there.
You have every reason to be.
The protests are going to happen, but that's been going on for 5 years of watching large toddlers break windows and steal shit.
Yeah.
Like whatever, you know, they've got law enforcement that'll step in on those matters. But we've got some global issues in conflict right now. And we're dealing with the Russian president, Putin, who is far from being anybody that's on the up and honest and wanting to bring peace. So that becomes a little
he's testing
worrisome.
Border countries now.
Absolutely.
In Poland and
Well, he did that once before. A couple of years ago, he sent a bomb or something right over the line into Poland. And he was testing the waters then as well, and just reminding the world that he's still there.
While the rest of us are battling within ourselves, he's like sneakily running around trying to figure out how to.
He's getting older. And honestly, the thing that scares me about that man is if he's so self-important that he would take people with him. And that's the thing that worries me about Putin.
Yeah, the ego's off the chart.
So, so this is actually a really big worry in that respect.
Well, just when they had, all the other authoritarians get together with, Iran and China, and that was very concerning.
That was for show.
Yeah, I know, but it still was concerning. Just the visual is like we respond to visuals, and they did it on purpose. It's
of course,
performative, obviously.
It's definitely performative, but that's why we bombed their nuclear site in Iran, because they were a few weeks away from having nuclear capabilities.
Right.
So I think that was a good move.
But if we're going to look at the debates going into this month, we also have the government budget coming up. That's going to be a huge conflict and fight.
They always figure it out. It's always a big conflict and fight every year without fail, a couple times a year. It's like, do what you got to do.
But the rulings of Supreme Court have a lot to do with how we're going to see things play out and shift, if you will. And, I get the Mars, going into Scorpio. Mercury will go into Scorpio too. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a lot of force against in your conflicts, people trying to take you down, try to battle you. My recommendation is to pay attention to someone trying to push you, trying to control you. Back away. Don't engage them because it's going to only have a disastrous results because they want you to engage. And so, if we get into these things where people want to get violent and start anarchy, just go home, close the door, turn off all the news, whatever you need to do.
I've been watching Bob Barker, The Price is Right, because I've got to tell you, watching 1980s prices and the people and how happy they were and connected with one another, I'm staying in my good place. These are things we have control over.
You are so a Neptune and Pisces right now.
I have to be. I need
Saturn and Pisces. Yeah.
I'm a Venus and Pisces myself.
Yes, you are. Yes,
so
you are.
I've got to stay in this good place because right now the energies, the forces outside of us are like pressure pushing in, and I'm aware of it. All sensitives are, and I think most people, their mind, body, and soul's getting tattered in this energy, and so it's very important. Put your phone down. Go play with your kid. Go do the whipped cream and the paper plate gag with them and play those games with them and their friends. Take control. Don't be a victim. Virgo can be victim energy, and I refuse to be a victim in this sign because it's very present of mind for me to not do that. People who turn into that victim energy and they embrace it destroy themselves and others, and that's what happens.
Well, that's what the Saturn in Pisces does. It creates the victim. It creates the giving up in isolation and disillusion and depression.
So turn away from that if you can. It's whatever makes you feel more at ease. Music, playing records, go to antique shops and do some antiquing, take a road trip.
But get out of
unplug.
The media. Get out of the media. Unplug. It's,
absolutely.
What's interesting what the governor of Utah said is turn everything off, go out and touch grass.
Yeah.
I love that he said that.
Yeah.
Because he said the thing that we need to do is to ground ourselves in this time of dissolving energy and to feel the earth, but I will say the one good thing about, the Libra energy we're going into, aside from there's some Scorpio attached to it, is that it's a cardinal energy, and it makes a lot during the month of October, makes good aspects to Jupiter, and Pluto will be in opposition, but it's cardinal. So it means that things probably was going to get resolved and get done, because cardinal energy is the ones that get things done. They're the Librans, the Aries, the Capricorns, the Cancers that just it's to take authority, just get it done. So that hopefully we'll get that, and then later we'll get one.
Can I ask you a question?
That's why I'm here.
Is my grandbaby going to have this shit in her chart?
Yes.
Oh my God.
We're hoping for a Libra.
Well, that I'm pretty certain of that she'll be a Libra. But the other stuff, the Mars and Scorpio and all of that.
Yeah. Well, it depends. It depends on how, she comes in October or November. But if we want a Libra, she's got to come in October.
Well, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In October, that's where it'll be. That's the placement. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, well, but she'll be someone that comes in to get things done at the same time.
Yeah.
Because she'll come in with cardinal energy.
Okay.
So we just don't know where the moon's going to be at the time she comes in.
Fingers
or
crossed.
what her rising sign is.
Fingers crossed on those two, because if you get the trifecta of some good signs, it's anything else can be worked with.
Well, the thing is, we talk about good versus bad, and everything's about a judgment. And I don't like judgment in astrology, because then it pigeonholes you and says you don't have choice beyond that dynamic. That's why there's so many symbols in a chart. Why look at the whole thing to get the whole picture? Because if you're just going to define someone by looking at their eyes or their face and disregard everything else, you haven't seen the whole person. And so there's the outside version of ourselves and the inside. There's the mental side, the emotional side. There's all these facets. And that's why when I do readings, I actually go into the whole person's energy and go into their past, present, future, and their nature, how what they feel, I feel, what they see, I see. So it's not a specific. So someone says, well, my boyfriend's a Taurus, and it's like, well, the nature of that person is basically very strongly possessive of his stuff.
Might like
very
porn.
Basic. Yeah. Eat, sleep, sex, repeat. It's just very basic. Very, it's an earth sign. They're very basic and grounded for the most part. But essentially, that's just not enough to give me a whole person.
See, with being a sensitive, I get a blueprint of a person just being in their energy field. So I feel like I can feel oppositional energies in some people to my own. Without looking at the chart, but there are certain signs that I know are going to be more difficult than others that I try and steer clear of.
Well, and again, your own nature to knowing what you're going into.
Right.
Yeah. So it's subjective. But when you talk about when you go into doing your work, aside from when you're doing life readings, because you go into their stuff, but when you go to the other side, you lose them all completely. Because it's not about them anymore. It's about the person you're talking to on the other side.
I know, I love it.
But other people understand that when you do readings for them, because they run an agenda to say, but this is what I want to hear. And you're like, well, this is what they're telling me. This isn't about you.
I'm very clear about it from the beginning. I say, I'm the secretary, the deceased is the boss, and you're the magic. You're why they come through. Right. And we're supposed to work in concert for the best possible outcome for the reading. But yes, the ones that do run agendas miss the point of a reading and try and cherry pick what they want to hear as opposed to what the dead needs to say.
Yeah.
So that would be, if you're in that headspace, don't have a reading. You're not in the right.
Yeah, if you want to know about yourself,
space.
You contact me. I will let you know.
Yes, Tom will tell you all about you
but I will
for
not
an hour.
Tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you are. But again, as we go into October 1st, the day itself, the Libra sun trines Pluto in Aquarius. So we do have this air energy that's going to be very, a lot of social, not conflicts, conflicts in certain areas because of that Mars and Scorpio. But the same thing is like there's going to be a lot of discussion about the things that we put in place that are creating these problems. And I'm going to say media is a huge, huge part of this.
Huge problem, yeah.
It is. And now that Uranus is going into Gemini, it will retrograde back into Taurus slightly, which again, it's going to wreak havoc on our financial systems, because that's what it does. It's changed our finances. Now we have cryptocurrencies. It's all new. This is all new. Cryptocurrency, a completely different new financial system that's trying to give birth. And, is it going to happen? Is it real? Is it a value? We don't know.
Right.
So this is all, again, Pluto and Aquarius, new things. But the biggest concern out of all of it, without question, hands down, is AI.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I talked about this in the last 2 years, and Pluto goes into, Aquarius, that innovation progress is going to move faster and faster and faster. And that we unconsciously and subconsciously resist change. When change happens faster, it creates more anxiety. And this is why we're all anxious. This is why we're worried about, what our kids are reading or how they're changing systems, how these things are happening so fast and we don't have time to adjust to them.
But think about that. People miss the past.
Of course, that's the point of holding on to the past.
So if this is going to take us into the future, and I hate the word progress because it's a debatable term on each point of what's actually right.
Yes.
So if AI is going to take us forward in lightning speed, that's going to take us further away from the way life used to be.
Yes,
and
exactly.
That makes people very uncomfortable and unhappy. We want ice cream trucks. We want kids playing in the yard and riding their bikes to their friend's house. Like that's what being a normal kid is. So AI is going to just give more of an open door for people to escape into this fake world and create more tension and violence.
That's what concerns me.
Yeah.
And that's part of the negative part of the revolution of progress. If you don't like the word, it's just change. So sudden, rapid, revolutionary change creates anxiety because we have two desires, the desire to hold on to that which is familiar and the higher desire to liberate from it. Well, the desire to liberate is not as strong as the desire to hold on to that which is known and familiar.
Well, progress, the thing that's misleading with that word, I understand it means change, but it's always used in a positive as though it's good for us. And I find that a lot of the times progress isn't good for us at all.
Well, a lot of your nature's fixed, Alice. So
I think I'm not alone because I'm on I'm on Instagram and people are missing the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They'd go back in a heartbeat because right now sucks. And it's not just one person or just one government. Things have gotten really out of control and
it's humanity.
People have to reassess their values and what matters to them and who matters to them.
But when the system feels like it's collapsing, then we feel helpless because the system itself doesn't support us. We feel alone. And that creates more isolation.
See, I never looked to the government myself to be taken care of by it. So I'm not feeling that.
Yeah.
I don't like the violence.
Well, who does?
Yeah.
Except Aries.
Well, there's some people online that seem pretty happy about violent things happening. And I think that in this time, we're having the veil pulled back and we're getting an up close view of some of the people who are the trolls online and them saying nasty, horrible, subhuman things. And at least we get to see them for who they are. It's a spotlight shining on them. It makes it easier to know just because somebody looks normal doesn't mean they think in a way that is human.
Well, and that's absolutely true, because if you're looking at these people that they're influencers and give them that power, they're going to alter how you think and how you feel about things because you can't do it for yourself. And then you become a tool for them, essentially. So, the people online, that are, about destruction and, these things that just, that's for them.
Right.
It's not for us.
It's so they can feel important. I don't see it as any different than the people who get lost in video games.
Right. But then when the message is fear, it's the easiest message. It's the easiest one because we naturally fear the unknown. We fear change.
But they feel powerful, causing fear.
Yes, exactly.
And they're usually just some guy in his mom's basement smoking a doobie.
Totally.
It's just, they're not important in the real world. And so they try and affect people's lives who have it, who are more liked than them, who have better skills, who have more education, or who are loved, who has a good job. They want to affect you because you have the things they don't.
Right.
So that's hard. But let's take a quick break and then we can wrap up this 9 year and things we might need to be aware of. When's Mars going to go into something good? I hate Mars in Scorpio.
You hate anything in Scorpio.
Well, that might be true. That's probably true.
Well, what follows Scorpio?
Sag.
Much better.
But Sag is a warrior.
Yeah, but it's a warrior for those who can't fight for themselves.
Oh,
It's competition.
I know, but there's
it's to
so
win.
many crazy people out there right now, Tom. It's so hard to watch.
That's why we're talking about
Yeah,
this.
I know. So 2025, 2 + 2 + 5 = 9. We have a few months left in this 9-year, and it seems like people can't get their footing or catch their breath because it's ending after ending after ending after
yes, it
ending.
is.
Now, a lot of people are saying that next week is going to be harder than this last week, which is unimaginable.
I'm agreeing. Yes.
So I guess I would worry in Phoenix for the memorial that they're having, for Charlie Kirk.
Well, there's a fall equinox on the 22nd. So, we have the sun moves into Libra opposing Saturn.
So his memorial's on the 21st, and I know that because it's the day of my daughter's baby shower, which you'll be at.
But the 21st, there's a new moon in Virgo opposing Saturn and Pisces. It's just all of its arguments, sparring, victim, blame.
Oh, God.
Politics will get worse.
Great time to come together with family. Yay.
Well, you have a joyous thing happening, so you'll be distracted. But let's watch what everyone ends up talking about.
Well, let's see who might just show up unannounced. Like, that's more of the conflict.
That will happen to you. It always happens to you.
And then having 2 new moons in Virgo is sort of rare, yeah?
Yeah, very much. Which is not pleasant anyway, because everything's broken. We got to fix it now twice.
There's a lot to fix. Well, at least Libra will have people talking and get a little diplomacy going, and not the victimhood. It'll be more legal battles.
Yeah, it'll be legal battles, discussions, debates. I get the sense, though, and you know this too, because we're in a 9-year, and December seems to be a very big year for death. So I think from now to the end of the year, the celebrity is going to drop like flies. I mean,
I agree.
They're all ready to go.
I agree.
And I just, yes, there will be death in the 1 year, but nothing like this year.
No, I know. There's so much going on astrologically, which is why I think this 9-year feels like it's nuclear.
It is.
It's on steroids.
Yes, it is.
I'm surprised.
It's revolutionary.
I'm surprised we actually haven't seen more deaths.
Yeah.
Than we've seen, honestly.
Yeah.
And 2016 was the last 9-year that we had. That year didn't disappoint as a 9-year, but we lost some of the biggest icons, and I don't think that's over yet.
It's not. But then we have so many regime changes and systems trying to move in new directions and different directions or go back to the way they were. There's just all this back and forth of who are we or what do we want to be is the biggest question.
It's a good time to unplug and go rent a tree house.
Rent a tree house?
You can get these nice tree houses or go glamping and just disengage, because right now there's very little you can do other than make a donation to whatever your belief cause is. Maybe call your senator, congressman, whatever, if there's something you don't agree with that you want to be heard on. But you have to know your limitations and conserve your energy and not expel it all on something that you technically have no control over as an individual.
Right, that's true. I mean, accept the fact that there's certain things you can control and certain things you cannot.
Right.
But again, I always, to handle this that I go through personally, is to look at it as the largest picture possible, not take it personally in my own survival. My own survival and feelings about how I want things to be or how I have troubles with the changes, I disengage that.
Yeah.
Because when you take your ego and survival out of it, it's a different story to look at. You look at it much more objectively to understand it in a big way, how it doesn't affect you, even though it does, but how you can control that. And again, I know how to unplug. I know where to look for information and piece it apart so it's not all coming from one place and make my own conclusion. I'm not influenced by anybody other than how I feel of what I see.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to be clear on that and stop letting people get in your head or your ear. Take in the information, see what's fact-based, and filter it through your own personal filter. And, don't make your whole life about it, or it will make you sick.
Well,
I'm gonna gain 5 pounds in the next month just over eating ice cream because it's the only thing that cheers me up.
Well, because your daughter's pregnant, you'll have sympathy pains.
Yeah.
I get the sense that we are going the holidays. Maybe we'll do a holiday thing before the end of the year. If not, we'll do the end of the year and that. But my thing is that you're going to go into family. And so I have this rule because there are family members I don't agree with, and some I do in terms of ideologies and friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And
but you're able to amicably still.
The Libra in me says
coexist.
we don't touch it. We talk about our friendship. We talk about our interests like we did when we were in high school or over the years and our personal lives.
Yeah.
And we don't bring that stuff into the equation because there's no reason to.
Agree to disagree and leave politics out of family dinners.
Yes.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Because your family happened before all this happened.
Right. And the two parties existed long before we were born or our parents were born. So it's nothing that's going to change right now in this moment. But the moments that you're here collecting, while you're creating your versions of heaven for when you die to relive as though they're happening for the first time, those moments, you can't get a second shot at them. You have to do it now. If there's something you want to do it. Yeah. And if there's someone in your life that no longer serves your purpose in life, or they are energy vampires and they drain you, cut them off. That's what a 9 year's for.
Yeah.
Deciding who gets entrance into your life.
Yes.
And it's important to have borders and boundaries. It's people without borders and boundaries that are the most dangerous, I believe.
And annoying.
Well, yeah, that too. That too, Tom. That too. So you're so funny. So we'll have you back so that we can go over like November, December, and then we'll just do a whole 2026 episode for the end of December for the new year.
They're my favorite to do.
Yeah. People love those.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And I am looking for, it's hard because don't watch the news because it stresses you out. And at the same time, people have a morbid curiosity as to what the hell's going on in the world, and they turn it on. And it's just a good time to go on a road trip. Really good time to go on a road trip. So, well, you can find Tom to book a reading of your birth chart at tom@tommcmullen.com. Thank you, Tom, for your insight. I know this was a scary one, boys and girls, but we're going to get through it together.
Yes, we are.
We're going to get through it together. It's going to be okay. I know it's painful. I know people are hurting and trying to make sense out of the world right now. Just do the right thing when you're out there and be good to one another. And that's all you can do right now. Live in the moment with the people you love, and don't let people break your borders and boundaries or define who you are. Don't give your power away.
Absolutely.
And if you can do those things, you're going to be okay. Just sort of sit in your own peace and chill out. That's all we can do right now. So thanks for coming, and we'll have you back.
You're welcome.
I'm Allison Dubois. This is The Dead Life. And to all of my believers out there, don't stop believing.
Join us next week on The Dead Life. And don't forget to subscribe now to get notified of every new episode.